So yesterday I did my first FTP test in probably 3 years, I'd say, maybe a little bit longer, and I honestly don't know if I've ever done a formal one. But yesterday I decided, you know what? It's time to start doing some proper training in the next couple weeks, so I probably should figure out my zones so that I can properly do this 80-20 triathlon training plan I'm eyeing on. So I got all ready and I knew I was gonna have to push myself super tough. I knew I was gonna hurt, I knew I was gonna go through a world of pain, but I didn't realize it was gonna be panic attack inducing tough.
I want to quit so bad. I'm telling myself I can't do it right now. That's not true. How am I doing?
So there's this thing called exercise-induced panic attacks, and well, I think I definitely have one after this effort. Enough, let's just talk all about it. It's a pretty interesting story. Alright, so before we get into my test specifically, I want to just cover what exactly is an FTP test anyway, and why you should do one, and why it matters specifically for me. So an FTP test is pretty much a snapshot of your fitness at that point in time in regards to cycling. It's how much power you can hold for an hour straight. So if you were going full out for an hour, this is theoretically the amount of power you should be able to hold. And if you don't know what power is in regards to cycling, it's pretty much how hard you're pushing on those pedals at any point in time. So my maximum power is somewhere around like 850 watts, something like that. But my FTP is much, much lower because I have to withstand that effort for an entire hour. And unfortunately for me, I'm no pro cyclist. I'm the furthest thing from it, as you'll find out shortly. There's a number of reasons why you would want to do an FTP test. Maybe you want to see your current level of fitness and then you're going to do a training program and test your fitness level at that point. Or if you are doing a specific training plan that trains to your FTP, there's a bunch of different reasons. But for me specifically, I'm training to the 80-20 triathlon plan. And that's essentially, you're doing 80% of your efforts at low intensities, so below your FTP, and then you're gonna do 20% of your training above your FTP, or very hard efforts. And the theory is, if you train low and slow for the majority of the time, but teach yourself to be fast for those 20% of the times, you'll be able to withstand for those long endurance events, and also have that very quick speed to your disposal, so you shouldn't slow down towards the end of the race. Hopefully, I'm really hoping so. That's why I'm doing this. I'm gonna track all this stuff and you're gonna come along with me. So make sure to smash that subscribe button because we're gonna be doing some cool stuff over the next few months. One issue with an FTP test and training to power in general is that it can be very expensive. So at the very least, you'll need some way to measure power, whether that be a smart trainer that has it integrated into it or have some other power solution. There's so many on the market. There's power pedals, there's power cranks, there's power hubs. I'm sure there's some other measurement of power that I'm not aware of. There's a bunch of different things, but it's all very expensive. So the smart trainer option might actually be the cheapest way to get into the power training, but you won't have that available when you're going to your races. And you can't use it on the road as well. So that's a limitation for that. But these other solutions get very expensive. So the power pedals that I have are one of the cheapest on the markets, and I got a single-sided one for 715 Canadian dollars. I don't know what it is in American at all, but I think the dual-sided of these pedals is over $1,000 just to get power. Just a number on your watch. That's all you're really getting, but it's a very, very useful number. So my suggestion is, if you don't have a smart trainer, buy a smart trainer because you're going to get so much use out of it from Zwift and indoor cycling in general. You don't have any excuses if you have a smart trainer to not cycle. If it's snowing outside and the power's on, you can cycle. You have no excuse. If it's raining out, you have a smart trainer. No excuse. It's right there. The majority of the time it's already set up, so just hop on there. But if you already have a smart trainer and you do want to get into the other solutions, my suggestion is to get the power pedals. They're very easy to install on your bike. They're coming down in cost. They're not cheap. They're not cheap by any stretch of imagination, but their ease of use is through the roof, and in my opinion, well worth that extra bit of money. All right, so with all that good stuff out of the way, it's time to get into my test specifically. So for me, I measured the power at two separate sources. I measured it at my Wahoo Kicker 2018 edition, and also using my PowerTap P1 power pedals. I wanted to see how the two compare, because with the kicker, you're getting a bunch of drivetrain losses, you're getting all these different types of losses because you're not measuring the power directly at the first point of contact. But with the pedals, you're pretty much getting it at the first point of contact, so it's, in my opinion, a better measurement of your actual power. All right, so let's explain what I'm gonna do with my test here. So I'm using Zwift. Zwift is an awesome platform, and they have a bunch of different workouts built right into it. So they have 3 different FTP tests, I'm pretty sure. I think there's 3 different ones. There's the long FTP test, which is over an hour, the short FTP test, which is 45 minutes, and then there's a ramp FTP test. I don't really know what the ramp FTP test is at all, or the long one really. All I know is that I chose the short one because I was not feeling the best. So I wanted to do this 45-minute short FTP test to get it out of the way, and it was pretty much a 20-minute warm-up with a couple efforts, and then 20 minutes as hard as you can, and then a 5-minute cool down. It worked pretty well, and I see no reason to do these longer efforts because your average power after 20 minutes multiplied by 0.95 is pretty much equal to the amount of power you can withstand for a whole hour with only 20 minutes of suffering. It's, in my opinion, the creme de la creme. Let's talk about the kicker results first. So all the numbers you'll see on screen here are from my kicker. I had that paired directly to Zwift just because I know that it works. I haven't used my pedals with Zwift yet, so I just didn't want to risk anything. So with that in mind, you're gonna see a lot of Ant Plus dropouts over Zwift. And I'm pretty sure that affected my FTP test in more than one way. But I'm not gonna use that as an excuse. I'm not. As much as I want to, I'm not gonna use that as an excuse. It's okay. It's fine. So, at the end of that 20 minutes, my average power was something like 217 watts, which gave me an FTP of 206 watts or 2.61 watts per kilogram. Kind of what I expected, actually 6 watts better than I expected. So I am pleasantly surprised. I should probably have an extra bowl of ice cream for dinner. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with that because I did expect a little less. But I did get very frustrated, and as you can see on my face, I was really feeling it. I put myself into a place that I probably shouldn't have at this point in time, just because my body isn't used to pushing just yet. And I'll talk about the aftermath in a little bit, but this is strictly the results. So using the Wahoo kicker paired directly to Zwift, my FTP was 206 watts, 2.61 watts per kilogram. And using the PowerTap P1 pedals, it was pretty comparable, not 100% comparable. My average power over those 20 minutes were 224 watts or 2.7 watts per kilogram. I'm using this tool called Golden Cheetah to find out my average power over that effort. It's awesome actually. I just found out about it last night. And it's essentially you upload whatever type of file you're using. So for me, I was using a .fit file, and it gives you your effort in that for your workout. It gives you all the graphs. It's a pretty cool analyzer. I'll leave a link to it down below. It's completely free. It's actually open source. So if you're a programmer yourself, you can contribute to it. And I think I might actually do it. I was looking through the code today. It's pretty dang cool. So, like, I don't know the percentage error rate right there between the kicker and the pedals. It's probably somewhere like 3%, maybe. I don't really know. It's worth noting that I did calibrate both the kicker and the pedals before my test. So there shouldn't be any calibration issues there, but like I said, there was quite a few Ant Plus dropouts on Zwift, and I'm sure you'll see a couple just watching the footage here. So every time it drops to 0, my cadence drops to 0, it just completely stops working. And I think it's because I was using my gaming computer, and I've never used that before for Zwift. But I don't really know what would be blocking the Ant Plus signal at all, but there must have been some thread or something just blocking every now and then. And as much as that sucks, like I said, I'm not still thinking about it. I'm just talking about it to tell you guys. I'm not still upset about it at all. It's whatever. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that test actually, but I did put myself into a whole other world of pain. So I have been known to have panic attacks from time to time, maybe a little bit more often than I'd like to admit, but I do also get these exercise-induced panic attacks, and pretty much what they are is because exercising kind of mimics a panic attack, every now and then when I get off the bike or get back from a hard run, I will feel like I'm having a panic attack, and then I'll think myself into having a panic attack. I'll think that I'm gonna have a heart attack or something like that, and it's just, it sucks. And that happened right after that bike ride. So it took me a little while to calm down, which is why I didn't film last night. I had to gather my thoughts. I journaled my thoughts about this workout and all that good stuff. But yeah, I definitely put myself into a whole other world of pain just for you guys. So I think that deserves a smash of the like button. I don't know, maybe even a subscribe. Yeah, I think so. So there you have it. There's my first FTP test of the year. I'm gonna be doing these probably once a month to measure my fitness and make sure that my zones are all dialed in. I have a video coming out later on this week to talk about my training plans and what I'm gonna do specifically. Like I said, I am following the 80-20 triathlon principle. I'm using the book by Matt Fitzgerald. It's a great resource. I'll leave a link to it down below. It's not an affiliate link, so I won't get any kickback or anything like that. I just think it's a proper resource for anyone getting started out in the sport of triathlon to check this out. So there you have it. I hope you all enjoyed my suffering. You got a few good laughs over my stories, and I hope that you can do your own FTP test. Go and buy yourself a smart trainer. You deserve it. I'm sure that your bank didn't get hit hard enough over holiday season, so it's probably screaming to have at least a few $100 kicked out of it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I already plugged enough in this video, so I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe or like it or any of that good stuff. But if you want to, I'd really appreciate it. All right, have an awesome night. Catch you in the next one. Peace.